Hello students, how are you? My name is Fikru Marga. Today I am going to teach you physics grade 9, that is unit 6. Student, do you remember that where we stop in last class? Yes, okay. We see about air pressure. Pressure is equals to force over area, we said. This means that if areas increase, pressure is decrease. If areas decrease, pressure is increase. Therefore, to find the pressure, you should have to use the formula P is equals to force over A, where A is area and F is a force. This is what we have seen in last class. And also we see about atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure is the pressure surrounding the earth, or atmosphere is the air around the earth. Thus the value of atmosphere is 101 kilopascal. 101 kilopascal, where kilo represents 10 to the power of 3. Therefore 101,000 pascal. This is what we have seen in last class. Today we are going to look about fluid pressure. Student, what is fluid pressure? Fluid includes all gas and liquid. Gas and liquid. You know that the properties of gas and liquid. Therefore, another characteristic is that they can change their shapes. This means that fluid can take the shape of the container they are put in. For example, if you have red container, the fluid in that red container like a red. So this is what we have seen. There are still some very important difference between liquid and the gas. Student, let us see the common difference between liquid and gas. If you look this table, there is liquid, there is a gas. For example, if you take a liquid quite close together, the particles of the liquids are quietly close together, with no set of pattern, or particles can move past each other. This is a particle in fluid. If you take a gas, far apart with no set pattern, the particle in a gas far apart with no set of pattern. This means that particle can move past each other. This is the particle of liquid and the particle of gas. Well, let us consider the bonding between the particles. Now, if you take the liquid, weak bond between the particles. There is a weak bond for a liquid. If you take a gas, no bonding between the particles. So let us see how they can flow. Change their shapes to match a container. Now for liquid, yes, it match with the containers. For gases also, it match with the containers. Let us see compressible. That means for a particle of liquid, no, the particles are already close together, no far apart each other. The particles are close to each other. If you take the compressibility of the gas, there is a lot of space between the particles. Since there is a lot of space between the particles, the gas can be compressible. Gas can be compressible. There is a space. There is a gap between the particles. This is why the particle of gas is compressible. Okay, let us see about fluid density. The density of any fluid can be calculated as the ratio of the mass to the volume. If we know the mass of the substance and the velocity of the substance, we can easily calculate the density. So density is equals to mass over volume. So as the particles are close together means, the volume is decreased. The volume decrease means have large density. Student, therefore, density is inversely proportional with a volume. That means if volume is increased, the density of the substance is decreased. If volume is decreased, the density of the substance is increased. This is the property of the density. So as the particles are close together, the volume of the particles are decreased. The volume of the particles are decreased means it has higher density or large density. For example, if you compare the density of liquid with the density of a gas, gas has large density than liquid because gas has large volume. When we compare to liquid, that is, gas has higher density than, or liquid are higher density than a gas because the particle of the liquid is close together. The particle of the liquid is close together. The particle of the liquid is close together means the volume of the particles are small, therefore have large density. From this formula, we conclude that if volume is decreased, density is increased. If volume is decreased, density is increased. This is the property of how to find relative density or density. So let us see the density of a substance. For example, mercury density have 13,600 because mercury is take a solid. For example, if you take carbon dioxide is a gas. Since there is a space between the particle of the gas, it has large volume. It has large volume means it has a small density. So this is how we find the density of a substance. Let us say relative density. The relative density is used to compare density between two fluids. That means the relative density of a substance is the ratio of its density of a substance. So relative density is equal to density of a substance over density of a water. Density of a water. Therefore, let's see how to find the relative density of a substance. Example. What is the relative density of alcohol? You know that from the table, we know the value of density of alcohol. If you look from the table, here is alcohol. It has 800 kilogram per meter cube. Therefore, density of alcohol is equal to 800 kilogram per meter cube. So we compare this, the relative density of alcohol with water. And the relative density of water is, we know that 1,000 kilogram per meter cube. So to find the relative density, we have the formula. Relative density is equal to density of substance over density of water. So our substance is the alcohol. It has 800 kilogram per, the density of water is 1,000 kilogram per meter cube. So kilogram per meter cube cancel each other. So relative density of this is equal to 0.8. Student, this is 0.8 is the relative density of this alcohol when you compare with water. So from this, relative density has no unit because the unit is cancelled out. The relative density has no unit. And next, we are going to then, if we are comparing two identical volume of then, the relative density can be calculated as relative density is equal to mass of the substance over mass of equivalent volume of water. So next we are going to see pressure in fluid. The key point we should have to consider about pressure in fluids are pressure increase with a depth. That means if depth is increased, the pressure in fluid also increase. So pressure in fluid direct proportional with the head or the depth of the fluid. So at any given depth, the pressure increase with a depth. If depth is increased, pressure is also increased. So the taller the column of the fluid above you, the greater the pressure it exerts. For example, if you look this diagram, the pressure at this depth, let's say this is 1, this is 2, and the Z is 3. Now compare the depths. Z is higher depths than the second. This higher depths than the first. So Z is the largest depth. How the pressure push the water away from this container? Look how the pressure, because H is increased, because our H is increased, how the pressure push away the water to this point. As the depth is increased, pressure is increased. Look the next. The pressure at Z is smaller than the pressure at 3. Here is at Z is the pressure at second. And the first is a little depth. Since it has a little depth, it has little pressure. The water cannot push away like the pressure at 3. Therefore, from this diagram, we conclude that pressure is increased with a depth. Therefore, this is what you understand, that pressure is increased with a depth. So we know that pressure in fluid is given by P is equals to density of the fluid times gravitational acceleration times the depth of the water. Therefore, we can prove this one. Because now we know that volume is equals to A times H, where A is area, H is depth. We know that other mass is equals to what? Density times volume. Now substitute the value of volume by A times H. Mass is equals to density times A times H. Therefore, pressure is equals to, we know that force or weight over area. Our weight should be, pressure is equals to, weight is equals to M times G over area. But in the value of M, we have density times area times H. Substitute the value of M. Therefore, pressure is equals to density of substance fluid times area of the container, the fluid, times H times gravitational acceleration over A. So A cancel out. Therefore, pressure is equals to density times H times gravitational acceleration. We prove this formula. Student, you can easily get the pressure of the fluid by this formula. So pressure of the fluid is equals to density of fluid times gravitational acceleration, the depth of the fluid. This is how to find the pressure. Therefore, the equation shows that the pressure increases with a depth. That means gravitational acceleration is what? Constant. Density of a substance is constant. But the only pressure depend is on the depth. The next one is how to calculate the value of the pressure. Calculate the pressure exerted by the water at the bottom of the swimming pool depths. For example, pressure of a water is equals to 1,000. Gravitational acceleration is how much? 10 meters per second. Now the depth is 6 meters. So our depth is 6 meters. Therefore, pressure is equals to density times depth times gravitational acceleration. Therefore, 1,000 kilograms per meter cube times 10 meters times 6 is equals to 60,000 Pascal. There is a next example. This means that calculate the force this pressure would exert on concrete block and the area of 3 meters squared, it says. Now the area is given. There is a pressure also given. We are going to find the force. So given pressure is this much and the area is 3 meters squared, required one is the force. Then you know that pressure is equals to force over area. So force is equals to pressure times area. So we have a pressure 60,000. Therefore, 60,000 Pascal times our area is 3 meters squared. So force is equals to, it is 118 kilo Newton. Force is equals to 118 kilonewton. So if you multiply this one, you get this one. Therefore, the force, the pressure, this much pressure have the force of 180 kilonewton. So this example is given for you. Please add another example to do or to know more about. Next, we are going to see about pressure acts equally in all directions. Pressure acts equally in all directions. What does it mean when we say pressure is act equally in all directions? Student, in fluid, despite the pressure being caused by the column of the fluid above you, the pressure is act equally in all directions. If you imagine that a very small cube placed under water, let's take this cube put under a water. So the pressure in each cube face would be the same. The pressure comes to this side is equal to the pressure comes into this side. All the pressure acting on these bodies are what? Equal. No change, because the pressure acting the fluid, when we put this cube in the fluid, the pressure acting on the cube are the same. The value of the pressure is the same. Therefore, what's the effect of atmospheric pressure? What's the effect of atmospheric pressure? So, if you're going swimming, the pressure acting on you is not just due to the water above you. There is two pressures that act on you when you're swimming in the pool. The two pressures are, one is the pressure due to the fluid, plus the other pressure is the pressure due to the atmosphere. So, look this person. Look this person. The persons are swimming. So, we are going to find the pressure acting on this person. So, to find the pressure of acting on this person, we should have to know the pressure of the fluid. And also, we should have to know the atmospheric pressure, because the pressure acting on these persons are atmospheric pressure as well as fluid pressure. Student, let's assume, let the height of this one is, let's say 4 meters. The height of this fluid is, let's take as 4. Now we are going to find the pressure acting on this person. And the gravitational acceleration takes 10 meters per second square. So first find the pressure of the fluid. Pressure of the fluid is equal to density of the fluid times h times gravitational acceleration. And density of the water is how much? 1000 kilogram per metric cube times h is how much? 4 times gravitational is 10. So Z is 40,000. 1,000 times 4, 4,000. 4,000 times 10, 40,000. Therefore, pressure is equal to 40,000 Pascal. Z is a pressure of a fluid. Notice this pressure that acting on a person. So to find the pressure of this, total pressure is equal to atmospheric pressure plus fluid pressure. Fluid pressure, that means fluid pressure. So we have known that atmospheric pressure is 101 kilopascal plus fluid pressure is 40,000 Pascal. Change to kilopascal. Z is equal to 101 kilopascal plus Z is 40 kilopascal. Add this one. So 101 plus 4, then 5, 0, 105. Total pressure is equal to 105. This is 40, I mean, okay. 101 plus 40. Then 141. Total pressure is equal to pressure of atmosphere. We know that 141 kilopascal is the pressure acting on this person. This pressure comes from the pressure of atmosphere is 101 kilopascal, and the pressure of the fluid is 40 kilopascal. When we add these two, we get 141 kilopascal. Therefore, the pressure on the swimmer would be the sum of the pressure due to the fluid and the atmospheric pressure. What we have do now. So, total pressure is equal to atmospheric pressure plus pressure of the fluid, when AT means atmospheric pressure. So, P is total pressure. This is how to calculate the pressure acting on a person when it's swimming. Next, we are going to see Pascal principle. Student, what is Pascal principle? Can you state the Pascal principle? Okay. The pressure applied to an enclosed fluid is transmitted to every part of the fluid as well as to the wall of the container, it says. This means that without reducing its value, Pascal principle is used to design and the construction of hydraulic machine. If the force applied to the left-hand piston, it will create the pressure inside the fluid. For example, look this diagram. Now, the pressure at this point is equal to the pressure at this point, because Pascal principle says that the pressure applied to enclosed fluid is transmitted to every part of the fluid, it says. If we press the pressure at this point equals to the pressure at this point. But student, you should have to know that the force at this is not equal to the force at this one. This means that pressure, let's say Z is A, let's say Z is B, let's say this point is B, the left hand side piston is, let's A, the right hand piston is, let's say, B. So pressure at A must be equal to pressure at B. This means that pressure at A is given by force at A divided by area at A, and which is equal to pressure at B means force at B over area at B. Therefore, by knowing this Pascal principle states this law. This means that the pressure applied to enclosed fluid is transmitted to every part of the fluid as well as to the wall of the container without reducing its value. So, this is Pascal's principle. If you know the pressure of at A and the area of at B, we can easily calculate the value of the force at B. Assume, let's say Z is A1, area 1, and Z is A2. Let's say, A1 is equal to 0.05 meter square. And A2, let's say, A2 is equal to 2 meters square. And F1 is, let's say, which is equal to F1, let's say 200 Newton. Student, can you find the pressure at A as well as the force at AB, the force at this point, right piston? To find the force F2, we should have to find first pressure 1. So pressure 1 is equal to F1 over A1. Therefore, which is equal to F1 is given, that is 200 Newton, over area 1 is given 0.05 meter square. So this multiply, to remove the decimal, multiply by 100 over 100, which is equal to pressure 1 is equal to 2, we have 40 over 5 Pascal. Therefore, by 5, 1, by 5, 4, so pressure at 1 is equal to 4,000 Pascal. Student, we get pressure at left hand side piston, that is P1. Let us find F2. First to find P, because P1 equals to P2. There is this much pressure at this one, because this is Pascal principle. Therefore, let's find F2. How can you find F2? By the relation of F1 over A1 is equals to F2 over A2. Z is P1. We have the value of P1 is 4,000 Pascal. Therefore, which implies that 4,000 Pascal is equals to F2 times A2. So F2 means which is equals to 4,000 Pascal times A2, we say that 2 meters square, we said 2 meters square. So F2 is equals to 8,000 Newton. 8,000 Newton. So if you are checking this Pascal principle, P1 must be equals to P2. This is what Pascal stated. Next, let us see about, this is what I have done now. Let us jump over. So this is the formula that I am going to show you. That means F1 over A1 equals to F2 over A2. This means that P1 is equals to P2. This is the relation that Pascal states. So let's see these examples. Two pistons are connected together to make hydraulic lifts. The smaller piston has an area of 100 Newton and a force of 100 Newton and an area of 0.5 meter square. And the large piston has an area of 2 meters square. Calculate the following, it says. Student, A, the pressure in the fluid and the force acting on the larger piston. In this, you should have to find pressure and also F2. So solution. We have F1 is equals to 100 Newton and A1 is equals to 0.05 meter square and A2 is equals to 2 meters square. Student, we have given this one. There is two pistons. Look this diagram. This is a smaller piston and this is a larger piston. There is a pressure, this one. There is a pressure. This is F2 is at this point and A2 is also at this point. F1 is at this point and A1 is at this point. Therefore, let's find P1. P1 is equals to F1 over A1. F1 over A1. Therefore, which is equals to our F1 is 100 Newton over A1 is 0.05 meter square. This is equals to multiplying both the denominator and denominator by 100. Therefore, we have this over 5 Pascal. Therefore, G is equals to by 5 2000 Pascal. Z is P1 is equals to 2000 Pascal. We get P1. But we know from Pascal principles, P1 equals to P2. P1 equals to P2. What is P2? What is P2, student? P1 means we have get P1 2000 Pascal, which is equals to P2 means F2 times over A2. Therefore, by cross multiplication, we have F2 is equals to 2000 Pascal times 2 meters square because area is 2 meters given. Therefore, F2 is equals to 4,000 what? 4,000 Pascal. This is how to find the required value. Student, let us see another. Hydraulic machines. It is a machine that used to shape metal or compress material into smaller volume. Example, used to make motor car bodies. And what's the difference between atmospheric gauge and absolute pressure? Absolute pressure is the actual pressure at a given point. Absolute pressure is the actual pressure at a given point. It is the true pressure of the system. Then atmospheric pressure is the pressure of the surrounding air. And the gauge pressure is the pressure difference between the system and atmospheric pressure. Look this diagram. To get the gauge pressure, you should have to subtract from atmospheric pressure absolute pressure. So gauge pressure is equal to system pressure minus atmospheric pressure. This is how to find what? The pressure. And do this example by yourself. And let's see measuring pressure. Brundtland gauge is an instrument that is used for measuring pressure of the gas. We see how to measure pressure of the liquid. This Brundtland gauge is used to measure pressure of the gas. A manometer is a simple instrument. It is U-shaped tube filled with liquid which is used to measure pressure. So let's see force in fluid. There is a force from the water that push up acting on against gravity. This force is what we call buoyant force. This force is what we call buoyant force. So the pressure difference means there is a difference in forcing acting on the top and at the bottom of an object. The size of the buoyant force depends on one, the density of the fluid, and the other is the volume of the fluid. Look this, how to find apparent weight. An object immersed in water appears to weightless. When an object is immersed in water appears to as weightless. For example, before immersing the water, it has 6 Newton. After immersing to the water, it has 4 Newton. Where does it go to Newton? Student, the apparent weight can be calculated as apparent weight is equal to weight of an object minus buoyant force. Buoyant force is equal to weight minus apparent weight. So from the figure, we have the weight of the fluid is 6 Newton. And the apparent weight is 4 Newton. So the buoyant force is what? Buoyant force is equal to weight of the object minus weight of the liquid. Therefore, weight of the what? Apparent weight. Apparent weight is this one 4 Newton, and the weight of an object is 6 Newton. Therefore, 2 Newton is what? The buoyant force. The buoyant force. So this is how to calculate the buoyant force. So let's see Archimedes principle. Archimedes principle states that the weight of the fluid displaced by an object equals to the buoyant force, it says. So an object wholly or partially immersed in the fluid, buoyed up by the force equals to the weight of the displaced fluid. From this, buoyant force equals to weight of the fluid displaced. The greater the volume of the liquid displaced, the greater the buoyant force. So apparent weight is equal to weight of an object minus buoyant force. So buoyant force is the same as weight of the fluid displaced. Now, let's see how an object is floating. For floating, the buoyant force, weight of an object is equal to buoyant force. Buoyant force. If weight of an object is equal to buoyant force, an object is on floating. If weight of an object is greater than 2, buoyant force, an object is sink. If weight of an object is less than 2, buoyant force, what happened to an object? It is rising up. A student, you should have to study this very carefully. Let's see this one. An object is floating if and only if buoyant force equals to weight of an object. That means it is floating. Weight of an object must be equal to buoyant force. Buoyant force. Buoyant force. It can be floating. If it is floating, this must be fulfilled. An object is sinking if and only if buoyant force is less than 2, weight of an object. This means that if weight of an object is greater than 2, buoyant force, or if buoyant force is less than 2, weight of an object is sinking. sinking. An object is rising up through water if and only if buoyant force is greater than the weight of an object. This means that if buoyant force is greater than the weight of an object, it rises up, rising up. This is what sinking, the sinking. Students, this is what I have for today. Until the next class, student, goodbye.